Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 51-year-old New Jersey resident Michael Oliveras began posting election conspiracy theories on Parler right after Donald Trump's loss in 2020. And he encouraged, quote-unquote, patriots to, quote-unquote, fight, fight, fight in all caps. Oliveras wrote things like, quote, "We are taking our country back," and, quote, "This country belongs to patriots, motherfucker." And in regard to January 6th, Oliveras said, quote, "I want footage of traitors' executions," and, quote, "Most of Congress needs to hang." So in December of 2020, Oliveras posted, quote, "It is time for a war on January 6th." And he used the QAnon cult abbreviation for where we go one, we go all. Oliveras also told Parler users that he was prepared to spill his blood for Trump, and he repeatedly wrote that, quote, "Nothing can stop what is coming." Other ominous warnings as well. And he made his intentions clear that he planned to enter the Capitol. So in early January, Oliveras responded to a Parler user who said that Trump supporters needed to, quote, "make sure we block all the tunnels," basically like in and out, of the Capitol and for Congress. In response to that, Oliveras wrote, at least in part, quote, "My hotels on Jersey Avenue, I will be able to generate a real-time understanding of access to the Capitol physically." On January 6th, Oliveras joined others. He was harassing and intimidating officers as they were trying to reach the Capitol. And these were the officers who were sent as backup for the Capitol Police. So Oliveras was seen pointing and screaming and cursing at them, and the mob was growing increasingly violent. So Oliveras assisted in pushing against the officers while screaming, quote, "Hold the fucking line." Eventually, the police broke free of all of Trump's terrorists, and Oliveras made his way to the Capitol. He used a police barricade to scale a Capitol wall, so turned it on its side, and he was seen illegally entering the Senate wing door, which had been busted open by the mob. So Oliveras walked through the Capitol. He was screaming, "Where are the fucking traitors? Drag them out by their fucking hair." He also took time to post on social media, quote, "I am inside the Capitol," and, quote, "They're gassing us inside." So he knew he wasn't supposed to be in there, and Oliveras was ultimately forced out of the building by the police, but he remained on the Capitol grounds and he continued to confront officers. And after the Senate wing doors and the windows were breached a second time, Oliveras re-entered the Capitol. So after exiting the building the second time, Oliveras continued to encourage the mob. He kept yelling "push" as they were leaning into the police. He also started a chant of "fuck the Dems," and he screamed, quote, "We want those fucking traitors." He also took photos of the violence that was going on between the police and the mob, and he continued to boast about his crimes on social media. So the police finally decided to surround and attempt to force everyone away from the Senate wing doors. Well, once again, instead of leaving, Oliveras waved his flag in front of officers. He flipped them off. And when the officers advanced forward and ordered everyone to move back, Oliveras refused. Eventually, a physical altercation broke out between the police and the mob, and Oliveras stepped forward with his arms outstretched to the sides, and he began forcefully, as the prosecutor put it, forcefully pushing against the officers. At trial, an officer testified that the situation ramped up quickly and it became very dangerous and violent. And some of the officers were pulled to the ground, and several of their body cam video footage shows Oliveras pushing against the officers as they were being attacked on all sides. So the police ultimately gained control of the situation because they shot pepper spray at Oliveras and all these other people. So they forced the mob back and out of that specific area, but Oliveras still didn't leave the Capitol grounds. Instead, he made his way to the opposite side of the building where the media staging area was located. And as others in the mob were destroying the media equipment and, they ran these terrified journalists away from the area and the photographers, Oliveras yelled at them, quote, "This is what happens to fake news, fucking traitors. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here." And quote, "Beyond that building right there, there's lots of traitors in that fucking media. You're going to hear about them all soon. They're all fucking going down." So Oliveras finally left after it got dark outside and he was literally forced off the Capitol grounds. He repeatedly posted on social media, though, saying, quote, "Did we want to get our bare hands on the flesh of those who have committed treason? Yes. Would I, as one of those red-blooded Americans, if the opportunity presented itself, grasped and removed one of those traitors? Yes." In another post, Oliveras wrote, quote, "Looks as though the Senate will have a long night ahead of them. DC takedown?" So Oliveras also boasted about being gassed a few times, and he said, quote, "I feel like I played 2 football games." Then later, Oliveras wrote that January 6th was, quote, "precisely what we want, insurrection acts in motion." When the FBI interviewed Oliveras, he didn't deny his crimes. In fact, he told the agents, quote, "I wouldn't change a thing. I'd do it again." So Oliveras was arrested on December 9th of 2021, and in a superseding indictment, he was charged with civil disorder, obstructing an official proceeding, assaulting officers, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. Oliveras refused a plea deal. He opted for a trial, and in November of 2023, the jury found Oliveras guilty on all counts. Could have told him so. As you all know, the traitors on the Supreme Court issued a ruling disallowing the obstruction charge for most of the January 6 defendants. But even without that conviction in the mix, Oliveras faced up to 16 years in prison, more than a dozen years of probation, and more than $700,000 in fines. The government, however, requested a sentence of 68 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. Surprisingly, Oliveras has no criminal history, but he repeatedly violated the terms of his pretrial release in this case. So U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell presided over Oliveras' case, and in the end, she sentenced him to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So this was a good result, in my opinion. It was close to what the prosecutors requested, and he now has 2 felonies on his record. So we'll see if Trump keeps his word for the first time in his life. We'll see if he pardons this undeserving convict. If so, great miscarriage of justice. So, like I said, we'll see. I will definitely let you know if that happens and if I hear any more about Oliveras. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video. Please share it. Please subscribe if you have not. Please donate if possible. Thank you all so much again. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.